Good afternoon. Brian Farr here, VP Stock Analytics with Stock Dads. Today is Monday, January the 8th. Stock market, nice little snapback today after last week's 9-week streak of gains ended. And off we go to the races. Lots of price action and news today, mostly focusing in on Boeing and also Bitcoin, a big runner today, up 6.8%. Today, tech leads the way, up 2%. The S&P's up 1.4%, and the IWM and Dow both closing green, whereas the dollar yields and crude oil take a seat in the back. So let's get into today's price action and news and any plays that we got in today, and let's dive in. This is the Daily Squeeze. All right, jumping into the charts here, pulling up first is the SPY, up 1.43% on the day, 6.6 points. We can see that the S&P's had a nice bounce today off the daily 21 simple moving average after giving back a decent amount over the past week or so, off of its highs of 477.5, just shy of its all-time highs and lagging behind the NASDAQ, which has already made new lifetime highs. A lot of focus in on this week with the key inflation data with CPI coming out on Thursday, followed by PPI on Friday. We also have a slew of Fed speakers, which we already had Fed Speaker Logan this weekend, and we also had Atlanta Fed President Bostic speaking today. So a lot of ears on all the Fed speakers this week. We definitely need to pay attention to what they have to say, especially after all the jobs data that we received last week, as well as the strong wage report that we also got last week, which is something that the Fed really doesn't want to see. We want to see some of those numbers cool down, and we also want to see energy calm down as well, so they can keep inflation under wraps. So we get our inflation data later on this week. We are expecting to see year-over-year headline CPI come in at 3.8%, and our monthly month-over-month CPI to come in at 0.2%. So, like I said, that'll come in at Thursday. But so far, a good start to the week, unlike last week where we snapped the 9-week positive gain there. So let's see if the bulls can continue to dig in here as we've bounced off a key moving average here today. So let's get into a few other things. The big item today is definitely the news with Boeing over the weekend, as an Alaska Airlines plane door pretty much came off mid-flight at about 16,000 feet and had to do an emergency landing. Awesome that nobody was injured or killed during that event. But looking at Boeing, we can see that Boeing, it's been Boeing's one of those names where you either love it or you hate it. And consumers and investors, are no doubt accustomed to the frustrations that comes with being involved in Boeing. And, Boeing was a high flyer at the end of the 2023 year. It's been overbought for quite some time. And, we got this news over the weekend, and she opened up right at the daily 50 simple moving average. So technically speaking, it's still holding key dynamic levels, but it's right at a crucial spot where if she loses the 50-day simple, there's a good chance that it could easily go down to the 200 simple moving average, which resides at about that 213.94 level. Now, earlier on in the session, Boeing was pretty high moving. It was up to about the 232 mark off of its lows. And then towards the end of the session, United Airlines came out and basically said, hey, while we're doing our inspections, we actually came across some loose bolts on our 737 MAX 9s as well. that we are having to fix. So that pretty much undercut Boeing a little bit at the end of the day. So Boeing definitely having some issues. Obviously, these inspections take time. We might not even know the full scale of everything for another year or so, but uh, the FAA has grounded any Boeing 737 MAX 9, and that does impact 171 planes. And each inspection can take up to 4 to 6 hours or so, just to go over everything and make sure everything's okay. But yeah, Boeing is not the only one to take a hit on this. SPR, which is the maker of those parts, also taking a little bit of a hit. And then, of course, once they do their inspections, we'll get to know if it's Boeing's fault, is it SPR Spirit Aerosystems fault, is it Alaska Airlines fault for this event. We just don't know yet. So you got to be patient here with Boeing and let the FAA run its course. So there's that. Moving on to brighter and better things, because talking about Boeing is kind of depressing. If we go to a Bitcoin had a phenomenal day. Currently up about 7%, breaking out above the 47,000 mark. Bullish pennant. It looks like on, let's see, last week there was a nice little flush. Probably got some weak hands out at that point, and then some tight consolidation. And off we have pushed above 47,000. Is currently hit a high of 47,800. Yeah, good breakout, is holding out. There is a lot of eyes on Bitcoin because the SEC has up until Wednesday to approve or disapprove of the spot Bitcoin ETF. So a lot of eyes on anything Bitcoin news related over the next few days. So definitely keep an eye on Bitcoin. Your favorite Bitcoin names such as MSTR, Coinbase, Mara, Riot, Hut, so forth. So yeah, off she goes there. Another big item today was Nvidia breaking out into lifetime highs, closing at about 522.53. Nice all-time high breakout. There was an event here with Nvidia. They released new chips and AI chips. So pretty good catalyst there for Nvidia. Also clear blue skies here. If Nvidia does want to continue to push on ahead, we are looking at a price target of about 560. Your next target would put you at about 540, and then the final price target there that I have is about 560. And then looking forward, yeah, we're looking at upwards of 600 possibly off of this breakout of this Darvas box. But yeah, Nvidia's been something that we've been looking at for a few weeks now. Still holding a position here with an average of 425 on the 550s for next week. If we get a follow through move, we should be easily green in that. But we need to see that follow through move, of course. Shares is definitely a safe way to play this also. But yeah, we day traded Nvidia today. Also, we took the 520 call expiring this week. We took that from $4.20 all the way up to $6 for a 43% gain in general. So that was a nice move there on Nvidia. Very bullish on this name. So yeah, good start to the week. As far as the watch list names goes, Dexcom had a good performance here today. This was on our daily watch list. It did have a breakout above 126 and moved towards the main price target of about 129. So good stuff here on Dexcom. If she wants to have a follow-through move, you're looking at a 135 and then 139.55. We also saw good moves today in Meta and just tech in general. Meta had a nice little move above 353.83 and push towards 360. Let's see. We also had some plays in SPX and Microsoft. Microsoft still holding a swing in this name as well, but we took a nice little day trade on this from $2.60 to $2.95. That was about a 13% gain on the 272.50 calls. But yeah, we are looking for a breakout follow-through move above 376 now to push us towards 380. and 384.30. So looking pretty good there. And let's look at towards some names that we can keep an eye on. Let's keep a look at FedEx real quick. FedEx has had some interesting stuff here. Off the highs from its earnings report from a few days ago, last week, 2 weeks ago, barely hanging on to this 200 simple moving average post earnings. Definitely some people frustrated with FedEx and their deliveries and the timing of their deliveries, etc. Personally, I've had some bad experiences with FedEx deliveries, and my wife would agree there too. But if FedEx does break down below 245, look for this to move all the way down to possibly 225. So it's not going to look pretty if FedEx loses the daily 200 simple moving average. It's not a bad company. They clearly make plenty of money. They even made $3 and some change per share. They make money. They have buybacks, and they are renegotiating their terms with the USPS. So overall, definitely not a bad company by any means. But right now, from a technical standpoint, she's hanging on by a thread. So we'll keep an eye on FedEx. Another key setup that I want to keep an eye on is Visa. Visa having this nice little continuation move above 261.55, closing at the highs of about 262.5. The next move would put you at about new lifetime highs above 263.25. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that. And also want to keep a continuous eye on Berkshire Hathaway B, Berk B. This has been a very popular name for myself, and it's been a nice win. So keeping an eye on Berk B. Continuation move would put us at about 371.34. We do have bank earnings starting up this week with JP Morgan, Bank of America, BNY Mellon. So some of these financial names are definitely going to be in the spotlight at the end of the week, following all that inflation data that we have as well. One more setup here, and we'll get to closing this out, is jets. Despite the news with Boeing, airlines had a pretty good day today. American Airlines had a nice little upgrade and had one of its best performing days since last year. So good performance there by American Airlines as well as Delta. So I just want to take a look here at the Jets ETF. We can see that we've had this nice bounce off the $14.69 level, and price has now stabilized right below the 19.5 mark. The next leg would push us over the 19.5 area to get us towards about 20 and 21. So that's what I'm looking at here on Jets. Let me put this level here just so I can highlight it since I don't have it. Let's see. There you go. About that 2067. So 19.5 towards $20.67. I do prefer time with the Jets ETF, grab time maybe to the March or June expirations, maybe even later, and also like in the money contracts, just so you can milk out more of that delta position. But all right, that's going to be it for me today. Overall, really bullish session. Great wins all in all. We went 4 for 4 on the day trade. Speaking of which, we took the SPY 470 call from 50 cents all the way to $1. So that was a nice 100% gain on that. And yeah, that'll be it for today's Daily Squeeze. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.